It was only 2 years ago that Syriza was just some other political party on the fringes of Greek's politics. Made up of left-wing and environmental groups, Syriza had a tiny following and had never been anywhere near the government. Fast forward to last month, however, and Syriza is now running the bankrupt nation after more or less sweeping the polls in the general election there last month. Since Syriza has promised to put an end to the austerity cuts and the fact that the rest of the EU, including our own government, is keen for them to do the exact opposite, the party is going to be in the news quite a bit. So who are Syriza, what are their aims, and what's wrong with austerity? I spoke with Eli Siapkidu, a volunteer member of Syriza UK's coordinating committee, to find the answers to these questions and ask what they are doing in the UK. Could you give us a brief overview of who Syriza is and how they are different from other political parties in Europe?
Syriza is a party that was created a few years back, and it's a coalition of smaller parties coming from the left, centre-left, parties that never used to be in parliament. It used to be a party that had about 3 to 4% or even 5% of the electorate. So it didn't have too much support. But over the last 3 years, it just increased too much. Its support increased too much, and it won the latest elections in Greece.
And what are Syriza's main goals? What do they want to achieve, or what is it that they want to do now they're in government?
I think the way I understand the party's positions is that it is focused on two main issues at the moment. And one of them is the anti-austerity platform. So over the past 6 years, Greece has suffered a lot from austerity policies. Unemployment has reached about 60% in the young people, and about 26% in the society as a whole. And at the same time, the country has been marred with corruption. So the two main points of Syriza's program is, first of all, the anti-austerity and find a way to deal with the Europeans in a way that sort of pays the debt, but at the same time does not kill the society. And the second one is corruption. By being one party that was not part of Greece's usual political scene over the past 40 years, it is fresh to everything, and hopefully it can contribute towards stopping sort of corruption.
You said that they're a fresh and not rotten government, but does that also mean that they're inexperienced?
Well, I'm not sure about this because I hear about this argument a lot, the whole sort of you need some experience to run a country or a government or whatever. And I think that's just an argument that is primarily used by people that want to cling to power. In the same logic, then you shouldn't hire young people. You should just hire people that have 10 years of experience because they're inexperienced.
I wonder if you could just describe what it was like, what austerity was like for specifically for young people, how austerity affected them.
So it was very hard for the young Greeks because the way the Greek sort of labor market works is that you don't have so many things developed like internet job ads and things like that. People move a lot to sort of if you know someone or if someone can push your CV, which is also the case here sometimes, and it's usually the case sometimes when some companies don't know what to do or they don't have very sort of good recruitment policies that you just ask your friends if you know anyone. But austerity just made this far worse in Greece. Plus the fact that because lots of companies were just shutting down, there were just not enough jobs. Now, in the universities, what happened was that they reduced the budget, and as a result, for example, they fired lots of staff in the Greek university. They stopped hiring new professors, and all of that just reduced the quality of the higher education in Greece. So this is particularly from the young. It was just a really, really awful situation, and to be honest, I mean, Greece is not a rich country. It was never a rich country like the UK. But with the austerity, it was like we went back in time for about 20 years or even more. Austerity essentially has caused a humanitarian crisis for some groups and some parts of Greece.
Most people I've spoke to when I've told them, oh, I'm going to interview someone from Syriza today, most people I've spoke to are like, wow, what are they doing in the UK? So elaborate on that. Tell us what it is. What is your role in the UK?
So we are having a sort of dual role, if that makes sense, because at the same time we are presenting, Syriza's positions here, and at the same time we are creating we have some ties, and we're sort of strengthening ties with things that are happening in the UK and organizations. One of them is the Greek Solidarity Campaign, which raises medical aid for Greece. We have ties with Left Unity. We have ties with Podemos here in the UK. And we are working towards cooperating with these sort of political forces and families to basically change Europe.
Do you think what's happening in Greece could serve as an example for people back here?
I think what happened in Greece legitimized austerity all across Europe, just like what Thatcher did legitimized, neoliberal policies across the world. The other thing we do, we organize events and we sort of organize discussions and things.
Why do you think anti-austerity is not on UK politicians' agenda? Why is it completely ignored, more or less?
I think because, that's a very difficult question, but I think the UK is quite unique in terms of its politics. Because both Labour and Conservatives are more right than their equivalent in Europe. And I think, especially through the media, centre or centre-right politicians, whatever you want to call them, have succeeded in having politics being completely delegitimized. So people, when they hear about politics here, they think, that's not cool. I think young people should get involved in politics, and they don't have, to be part of a specific party and just follow what the party says, but go and read newspapers, read, on the issues that matter for you, and just don't think that it's not about you, that it's something far, far away, and it doesn't really affect your reality and your everyday life, because sooner or later it will.